and welcome back to our mid-season showdown here at Second Soda Collectibles for our Gym Challenge New Year's Marathon. My name is Jesus Cornell. I'm now joined by Ryan Wayne here for our Top Cut phase of this mid-season showdown, and we have our defending undisputed San Antonio Regional Champion Giovanni Costa on the stream with Goldango, Iron Hands, Ogrepon Wellspring, Fluttermane, Urshifu Single Strike, and a Farigiraf against Hayley Aldworth and her Fluttermane. Dragonite, Iron Hands, Rillaboom, Iron Bundle, and Ogrepon Heartflame.
Yeah, and yeah, just want to say welcome, guys. Thank you for having me on here. I'm excited. I came 3-2 in here, and I did not face either of these people. But yeah, I'm so excited to see, like, yeah, I mean, that moment with Gio on stream and whatnot was so great. Watching that and, like, cheering on our SoCal peeps. All right, we are starting, and who is starting out?
It's Hayley with the Ogrepon Rillaboom, and Giovanni Costa going to lead the Farigiraf and Ogrepon. So we have an Ogrepon on each side.
We got a lot of grass.
Yeah, and grassy terrain to boot on top of that.
All right, so looking at Gio's team, let's see. So we won't be seeing any grassy glides, obviously. At least from his side.
Yeah, not with the armor tail in play with the Farigiraf.
Nor fake out. So, see where he goes from here. I think
Ogrepon for Gio going to use Follow Me here to redirect any potential Ivy Cudgel potentially or any grass moves.
He's going to be very neutral attack.
Oh, that's a lot of damage from that Grassy Glide from Hayley. Woodhammer going to go ahead and knock out this Ogrepon.
All right, well, I hope that losing the Ogrepon, it was sacrificed for this to get off this move from this Farigiraf.
He's going to take a bit of recoil damage, and I believe it's Trick Room, and it is going to be a Trick Room from this Farigiraf, so this might signal Giovanni going for a slower mode of his team.
Very nice. And I mean, if you do look at Hayley's side, it is a very fast-paced team apart from that Iron Hand, so good strategy, gets his tempo going, and we have that Goldango.
Yeah, the Goldango comes out here with that choice specs. It's very dangerous if you let it just do what it wants, because we've seen it do a lot of damage before.
Oh yeah. One interesting thing to note about Gio, it has Focus Blast. Now, Focus Blast is 70% accurate, which, you know, it's a risky gambit, but if it hits, it helps out so much and through those type matchups.
And that's going to be a Terastallization coming out from Gio. I think this might be Goldango to steal, and it is.
Yeah.
So he's going to be looking to do a lot of damage here, but more importantly, Hayley did not switch out her Ogrepon.
Did not. And does Hayley's have the Stomping Tantrum? It does not.
That's a big hyper voice coming in for this Farigiraf, doing a lot of damage to the Rillaboom and the Ogrepon. Rillaboom going ahead and munch on Stitch's Berry to get a bit of HP back. But I think this Make It Rain will be able to underspeed both these Pokemon and will get big damage on both of them. Maybe a double one-hit knockout. Wow.
Erased. That's one of the great things about these spread moves, you know, hit both targets, and when you have the ability to hit both Pokemon twice with super powerful moves, why not?
That's crazy. That's really just how this Goldango always tries to do as damage as much as it possibly can, because oh my goodness, how much damage did that do? And now comes the last two Pokemon for Hayley, and she brings out an Iron Hands and a Dragonite.
All right. Well, thankfully for Hayley, this Iron Hands will be slower in there. I think it outspeeds the Goldango, which he is switching out into his own respective Iron Hands. Now, does he go for the Psyshock? There is no Terra that has been used on Hayley's side, so we might see a little bit of that right now.
We are going to see Goldango switch out for Gio, probably to reset that special attack drop that it took, or maybe switch out that Make It Rain that it's using, and in comes Iron Hands for Gio. Drain Punch into the Iron Hands for Gio from Hayley's. Going to do a decent amount of damage. Here comes the Psyshock with that Life Orb, but Iron Hand is pretty good physical blow. Oh, that is
half.
Yeah, that's a lot more damage than I was expecting for the physical defense. And Hayley locks in Outrage, and it will knock out the Farigiraf.
Deleted. Very nice. All right, Hayley is not done here. He is putting in the work. And good thing to know about this Iron Hands, it was faster than the Farigiraf. So potentially, depending on how everything is trained, it is those things of like what has the speed tie, or who wins the speed time between this Iron Hands and, you know, Hayley's or Gio's.
I don't think Outrage is going to be doing a whole lot of damage to the Goldango at all, but we are going to see Gio go for the fake out into Hayley's Iron Hands. Outrage does target the Goldango automatically, and it doesn't do enough damage.
That's not too shabby, though.
No, it is not. Here comes the Shadow Ball into the Iron Hands. It should be enough to knock it out, and it is. more importantly, this Dragonite has to go for another Outrage because
Yes.
not only is it choice banded, it's yet to get confused off the fatigue.
Yes, and that confusion can be tough to break through, and it is faster than both the Iron Hands and Goldango. So it's an uphill battle for Hayley. She's not out of it quite just yet, but you know,
One turn left the Trick Room.
One turn left. Will it be enough?
She has to knock out something. She needs to hope that this Outrage auto locks into the Goldango. You know, this is your one turn without confusion that you need to have, and it needs to count big against this Goldango.
Yes. By the damage rolls and stuff, it could take out the Goldango. I am curious what damage it does to the Iron Hands.
Wild Charge into this Dragonite does half damage. It will take a bit of recoil thanks to the move's effect. Outrage. Oh, it didn't target the Goldango. It goes after the Iron Hands. It's
but
not
it takes
enough.
it down to 7. Just hangs on just by the skin of its teeth.
Yeah, and that's Dragonite able to now be confused due to the fatigue, but Shadow Ball will be enough to knock out this Dragonite. Giovanni Costa wins the first game 2-1-0.
Congratulations, yeah. I mean, it was risk. You know, one could say risking the Ogerpon that early on, which Ogerpon, Wellspring, such a very good, strong Mon, and when all the moves went into that in that opening turn, that is a big trade to get off, but it paid off literally because next turn he could use the double spread moves and delete it and basically left the final 2 Pokemon on Hayley's side. So it was a risky gambit, but it paid off.
Yes, it is. That one's just hard because the Goldango just threatens so much damage, and thanks to the Farigiraf, you're not worrying about any sort of priority. But as much as I love that turn 1 play from Hayley with that double target into the Ogerpon, I would have thought taking care of the Farigiraf would have been better overall because of the fact that Trick Room actually ended up losing you the game.
So that, follow me. Does she have... Alright, so if she has Flutter Mane, that does have spread moves. Iron Bundle has Icy Wind. Not the best spread move to use against, you know, Trick Room user. But I think that's the kind of adjustment she has to play here. And, you know, because, like, what's preventing Geo to do the same thing next time? It benefited him on that point.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, there's not a whole lot Hayley can do. You know, maybe you need to find a different way to get some overwhelming damage, because if she finds the means to get as much damage as she possibly can, Geo could be in a world of hurt, but we've seen it so many times where it's like, you think Hayley has a chance to get into the game, nope, Farigiraf Armor Tail's gonna stop it.
Yeah, it looks like he is benching it. He is switching the strategy, taking the token female off guard.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to be happening here in game 2 here. Top 8, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Dragonite Iron Hands for Hayley. She is switching it up a little bit, and Geo as well with his own Iron Hands and the Single Strike Urshifu.
Alright, so he does have that priority. However, Hayley doesn't know that Farigiraf is benched this game. So that could be that one thing that stops her from using that fake out.
I mean, the presence of Farigiraf has to get you into a position where it's like you don't have to find a way to use fake out, but you have to be aware of it, because even if it's not in this battle, you have to be able to know it's there. Yeah. And there's a detect from this Urshifu.
Alright, let's see what moves are getting into it.
Oh, Outrage perfectly auto targets into this Iron Hands, and that's a lot of damage.
That was a gutsy move. Now, how much does the recoil do? It takes the 61. Now,
does Iron Hands do it? No, it went after the Urshifu.
Alright, so essentially, depending on where this target goes for the Outrage, it could go into Iron Hands, or it can go to the Urshifu. Oh wait, the Farigiraf is in the back. That is my bad. So, I can see... Oh, he's going for the Wicked Blow. I could have seen him use the Sucker Punch.
I mean, I do assume the Urshifu is just faster than this Dragonite, because the way that the speeds are for these Pokemon, I would have to think that Urshifu is going to outspeed this Dragonite, but we do see Farigiraf switch in for this Iron Hand, so that's interesting to note, and Urshifu is indeed faster and will knock out the Dragonite.
E-Rings. Very well done.
New question, how much damage does Urshifu take from a Drain Punch?
I think a pretty
no,
big...
it landed for Farigiraf, and that's about half.
Roughly half. And it has Life Orb, so no, doesn't activate any berries or anything like that. I don't know. Is he going to try and set up Trick Room at this point?
Well, here comes the Rillaboom, so Veracity Terrain is not going to be put into play, but the Rillaboom, I mean, the Urshifu is still threatening that Wicked Blow, even though it is the Iron Hands, you know, single target damage to single target damage, and Wicked Blow is pretty notorious for it.
Oh yeah, it can erase health like the pencil erasing. My analogies are terrible, but it can really knock out Pokemon left and right. And this is the same team that Gio has been using for a while. Won him a championship in Texas, so he is very well equipped on knowing what this Urshifu can do, how much damage, what it outpays. A masterclass, basically.
Well, Urshifu seems to be really important to preserve right here, because that's going to switch out into this Goldango here to potentially mitigate a Drain Punch in this way, because it looks more obvious by the moment for Regirat going to protect to make sure it doesn't take any further damage from this Rillaboom. And Woodhammer does go into the Goldango.
It's going to be resisted, but
yeah, but it still does half because of the grassy terrain.
Very well done on Hayley's part. She's still in this.
Drain Punch, where did it go? It went out to protect. So, thankfully, Urshifu would have just taking so much damage from the Woodhammer, but instead Goldango has to take it, but might be in a better position right now, depending whether or not high horsepower connects.
It is, but that Goldango is probably going to be faster. And does he go for... Oh yeah, it looks like he might be going for the double spread moves again. Or does he go for Side Shock? I mean, Side Shock could be... We don't know what Hayley's last Pokemon is, but I feel like Make It Rain is a good safe bet. He can always swap it out. Gio definitely has the upper hand here.
Definitely, but I think this Rillaboom was just faster than this Goldango based on what we saw, unless there's something we don't know about how the way that the Rillaboom is trained. But if it's faster, that is a pretty free turn to go for high horsepower, as I saw, because the Terra Steel not going to be able to save it. So comes back in the Urshifu. And yeah, we see Woodhammer go into the Farigiraf, so we're not going to get any Side Shocks.
That does take it out. Yeah. So Hayley doesn't need to worry about the priority moves no longer. And
this is Drain Punch. That is a lot of damage coming in. No, just Wild Charge. So it at least does half, but you lose a bit of health even though you get some of it back with the grassy terrain.
Grassy terrain helps, and more importantly, the Focus Sash is broken or cannot be activated at this point. So she can go into that move and knowing that whether it's a Woodhammer, whether it's a Drain Punch, should be able to knock it out. Now this Iron Hand come in and might fake something out. And if I am correct.
Oh, that's a Terra Dark move for Gio. I mean, you are faster than this Rillaboom, but yeah, you have to be able to survive a Grassy Glide, and I'm pretty sure Urshifu does have enough in the tank to at least survive one of them.
Maybe. But then again, it depends. I kind of blinked, and then he was very confident in his selection. I don't know where this fake out's going to go into. But yeah, we see the Terra pulled off. That Dark type, so this Wicked Blow is going to do a wicked amount of damage.
And that's fake out into the Iron Hand, so we're not going to get any Drain Punches anytime soon, and there is no Grassy Glide to be seen. It is just a Wicked Blow, and this should be enough to knock it really what it does.
It was, yes. Is that a big error on Hayley's part? I mean, like, some damage is better than no damage, but then again, you know, maybe she was worried that Urshifu was going to do the Sucker Punch, so there was no way around that anyway, because they're in the same, you know, dynamic, and since it is, you know, they're on the same speed level, but...
Oh, Ogerpon's the last Pokemon for Hayley.
Alright, so...
she definitely has the speed control, because depending on how this Ogerpon's trained, it's definitely going to be faster than this Urshifu, but here's your problem. Oh, wait, never mind. Terra's still available for Hayley.
Ooh, okay, so this is going to do a lot, because if she does Terra this Pokemon, which I think it behooves her to do, you know, it raises the attack for her, you know, team, all her moves, and if that Ivy Cudgel will hit very hard.
So can the priority Grassy Glide.
The priority Glassy Glide.
Grassy
Glide.
Are we trying to tongue twist you?
Probably. I also trip over my words quite often, but, you know, working through it. But, yeah, speaking of working through, now that Ogerpon could, or now does Hayley call this detect?
There is the Terra from Hayley. I have to send this as the Ogerpon, and here we go. The mask will shine brilliantly because of this Heart Flame mask now taking its full effect and it's becoming in body aspect.
Very nice, very nice. Now, the question is, even if it goes into the Urshifu slot, does the Iron Hands on Gio's side get any damage to it beforehand?
Grassy Glide to the Iron Hands!
There. Very nice move. Great read from Hayley. Now that that is gone, Gio is down to his final two Pokemon.
There is a Drain Punch hitting just into the Protect, but I don't know, Hayley has a chance to take this with Game 3 potentially, and that's speaking a lot about Hayley's adaptation, and it's just the Goldango left.
Oh yeah, the Goldango. going up against a Terra Fire.
And it's choice locked.
Oh, yeah.
So this one is pretty much free to get taken out, but I have to think you have to go for the attack of the Urshifu because Urshifu just threatens damage to your Ogerpon, which I think becomes your win condition.
I agree. He's locked in. Suspense.
Because I don't know if Shadow Ball even knocks out the Ogerpon at all. And here goes Ivy Kojo. Oh, it's going into the Dingo actually. So Hayley's just confident Drain Punch and just take a knockout here.
I think it can. I think it's more so of like, all right, I don't think a Wicked Blow would erase the Iron Hands quite. It would take like 2 shots. It does take out the Ogerpon.
Yes, it does. And Ogerpon now going to have his mats broken, saddened, and into the Pokeball. And Iron Hands can only go for the Drain Punch here. Will it knock out? It will.
Does.
We go into game 3.
We are going to game 3, yes. The Ogerpon may have had its mask broken and go back into the Pokeball, but now it's going to get a little visit the Pokemon Center and be able to come back for this game 3. Hayley is, in it to win it. Both of them are. I'm excited.
Yes, they are. And this is actually a good amount of adaptation from Hayley, but I think part of it had to go down to the Outrage auto target, which actually got the Iron Hands correctly and played a big role in how much damage Iron Hands had to take there.
Oh, yeah. I think in her mind, she knew that the Iron Hands would not go down to a Wicked Blow that was Terra, dark. And so at least it could have that one survival. So I think she was banking on that, even if something happened to the Ogerpon, whether it was Sucker Punched or anything like that. She had a plan, a failsafe, if you will.
Okay, but now if you're Geo, do you want to lead the Urshifu Iron Hands again, or do you try to go for something different? Because Farigiraf, unfortunately, that last battle didn't really get to do much of anything.
No, it did not. It kind of... Did it even get off its move?
It only got off a Protect.
I mean, I think he was definitely having it in the bag so he'd have that surprise factor. It's sometimes how they were able... It's sometimes what role does it play in that moment. And I feel like he thought it was going to be beneficial to swap at it, and it just wasn't panning out. I think Hayley is definitely wondering the same thing. What is Geo going to do here? Because it's one thing to make an adjustment. Now it's like, all right, what adjustments is your opponent going to make? And how much is that second game loss really affecting Geo? I don't think that much, but it's always a thing of like, all right, how is my opponent going to adapt from there?
That's all that can really be said right now. Hayley has a chance to send the undefeated Giovanni Costa home early, and this would be a pretty big upset based on the standings, as Geo is the 1 seed against Hayley's 8 seed, but seedings don't really matter anymore, and it's Dragonite Fluttermane for Hayley. And Geo gonna lead Urshifu for Farigiraf.
A very, very aggressive lead from Hayley.
Well, she got it correct, so
yeah.
Now that Urshifu's in trouble, but I'm more curious to see how this Dragonite deals with this Farigiraf.
Does it go back into the Outrage? It seems to be hitting for the most part the targets that she wants, except for game 1. But it really depends on what she decides to lock into and what move she goes in with this Fluttermane as well. We are going to see a Protect on the Farigiraf.
I think we're going to see one of the Urshifu as well. No, we do not. No. That's going to be a Dazzling. Urshifu's going to go down to Sash, so, well, there's good and bad in this. So Urshifu goes down to Sash here, but if that's Wicked Blow to the Fluttermane, I think that's gone.
It's Focus Sash, though, so it would just bring it down to 1.
Oh, it's Sash as well.
Still beneficial.
Oh, that's the Dragonite.
Yes, and that does almost the entire amount.
And outrageous
into the Protect. That is the gambit you do play with it. But,
Urshifu's in trouble, though, unless a Sucker Punch lands.
Yes, that is true.
Well, you have a free Sucker Punch on the Dragonite, so it's like, do you want to take that trade as an option, or do you want to hold on to your Urshifu for something later? Because I think you need to hold on to Urshifu for something like that Ogerpon for later on. But I really just don't know, and we're going to see Trigger being locked in.
Yeah, that's the only downside.
Wait a minute. Dragonite hit a Protect, so it actually gets a chance to switch out here and go into the Iron Hands.
It does, and what did Urshifu lock into?
I tried to Sucker Punch the Dragonite.
Yeah, that's always the gambit you have to play. It's like, yeah, if you get that off and if you pull it off, you are able to switch it into your favor. Now, one of Geo's biggest damage dealers is out of the game.
But Trigger gets set up, but here's your problem. Hayley sent in her own Iron Hands.
Yes. and it is slow, and it can keep up with the rest. Now,
Iron Hands comes in for Geo.
it does. So both of them have access to their fake out, and the Flutter main still has its sash intact.
Oh,
We're gonna see a Terra.
Terrifier from Iron Hands. I don't think he has much of a choice to deal with this Flutter main at this point. But also indirectly, it actually deals with Ogerpon.
It does. It does. Because Ogerpon on her side, well, it does not have Stomping Tantrum. Usually on the Hearthflame, you do see a Stomping Tantrum. Maybe.
Oh, Hayley's tearing as well on the
Ooh.
Iron Hands. It might be slower, actually. It is slower than Geo's, and it's going to be a Terrifier as well.
Ooh, interesting. Now it will outpace, and any fairy moves coming that way will not be effective.
Well, we're going to see both of them Terra at least. So
Yes.
if you're Hayley, do you protect the Flutter Maid at all? Because you are being friended by a Heavy Slime, although you do have Focus Sash. A double up is just equally terrifying because Side Shot hits through defense, and we know Flutter Maid's physical defense is not to be good.
Yeah, I think the tough thing is it's that
Yeah.
2-hit, it does protect. So I think Geo did lock both moves into the
Well, fake out into the Iron
fake
Hands,
out.
actually, so
So
it is going to be priority.
speed tie. Oh, wait, no, yeah.
Priority.
Priority. Well, we don't know what she pressed.
Well, she couldn't press fake out in front of a Farigha Wrap.
Valid.
That's a Side Shock that you pretty much comfortable taking.
Decent chunk of damage. Now, does she try to go for the Drain Punch into either one slot? Because it doesn't look like the Psyshock is going to knock out the Iron Hands, which is probably part of the reason why she terrored in the first place to fire.
That would make sense, honestly, because Terrifier does have its means to counter as many Pokemon as it can. Heavy Slam will take Flutter Maid down to his Focus Sash.
All right.
And because it's a Practice for Regrab is slower than its Flutter Maid, it may not get an attack off right now. Wild Charge into this Iron Hands does
does
not
about
great.
a fourth.
Yeah, it's not great damage here. Side Shot goes into the Flutter Maid and down it goes.
There it goes. All right, so that was, what, 2 turns of Trick Room use? So if we're looking at the rest of her team, they are on the speedier side. So it doesn't, Geo has the advantage here because of the Trick Room.
Oh, and that's
Yes.
Ogerpon for Hayley.
All right, so now she does have Grassy Glide and Ivy Cudgel on this. Those are the only 2 attacking moves, Spiky Shield and then Taunt.
Yeah,
Taunt
which
doesn't
neither of them was super effective to the Iron Hands, not at its Fire type.
No, it does nothing against it, unfortunately, for Hayley.
This is hard because you gotta get out of this Trick Room because the Iron Hands is getting out of control as well as this Farigha with the damage that it's providing with that Life Orb.
Yeah,
So it's just...
and we did see Geo lock in to protect on the Farigha Raft, knowing that, hey, this could be a way for him to get more, points if the Dragon, or not a Dragon, Drain Punch falls into it, which is something, on Hayley's side you would probably try and do. Because...
Drain Punch into the
it
Iron
wasn't
Hands.
there.
It is gonna get a bit of HP recovery thanks to the fake out damage it took earlier and the Side Shock. That's pretty respectable. Now it comes down to what this Ogerpon did, but I had to assume it went after the Farigha here as Drain Punch from Geo's Iron Hands lands on Hayley's. Gonna get it back to 50% HP. And Ivy Cudgel did go into Farigha.
Yes, so if my math is right, which it may not be, there should be there should be one more turn of Trick Room, if not 2. So if it is one more turn, Hayley could protect the Ogerpon right here, so that way she can swing the speed advantage in her favor.
There is a Dragonite sitting in the back, and if it gets free reign to go for something like that Outrage, it could be the swing that she needs. But I think the hard part is just how do you preserve into something like the Goldango, which I think I did see Geo have in the back.
And stop. Does she have Stomping Tantrum on? I think that might be the play. Because
Spiky Shield on Ogerpon, so any direct contact will be taking damage. And Drain Punch did go into it.
He did target the Hearthflame, so we will be losing some damage and also not gaining any damage from that Drain Punch.
Drain Punch into Farigha. Not enough!
It lives on 3.
It gets one more attack off at least because of that Life Orb, but it will fade the following turn, which means Dragonite kind of has free
Hyper
reign.
Voice, so it will go down right here.
But it doesn't take the Iron Hands with it. It does not.
The Iron Hand did live.
It did not take the Iron Hands with it, though. But
No, it didn't take it. Oh, my bad. I misheard. Yeah.
And the Trick Room's gone.
All right, so that means that
now Hayley's in a fantastic position with his Ogre Pawn.
Yep, I mean, it looks like a free. You press the Ivy Cudgel right into that Goldango. It does not have
Protect.
Yep, it doesn't have Protect.
Nor
so
does it have Trick.
well. And this Ogre Pawn is also at full health, so it's going to be able to live these moves.
Are we going to be seeing a potential upset right here in our first MSS?
So, I mean, Gio's already locked. He doesn't need more championship points. He's already got his world invite. He's already looking online for his hotel. So, you know, this will be a chance for Hayley to climb up the ranks, get 4, get
wow, one-hit knockout with the bonking Ivy Cudgel, and that's big amount of damage. Drain Punch into this Iron Hands, not enough for the knockout.
I think Gio will probably concede at this point. There's not really too much he can do unless there's a giant critical hit into this.
Ogre Pawn is half.
At half. So at this point, yeah, just looking at the damage, Hayley could just Ivy Cudgel and then
that's
Drain
it.
Punch, and then Gio concedes.
Wow, Hayley gonna pull out the 2-1 over Giovanni Costa, and we'll move on to the semifinal afterward.
Congratulations, Hayley, going to the semifinals. You know, it can also be very intimidating. Gio coming right off of that giant victory out in Texas. I mean, it can be very intimidating going up against that. So kudos to Hayley for taking down the Texas champ.
Not only that, the #1 overall seed in the tournament as well.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words because I didn't think I've seen a situation where Hayley could get out of that Trick Room without much damage, and somehow she came out of it unscathed.
I know, right? The thing is, she looked at her game 1, saw what went wrong and stuff, but the thing is, Gio was also changing up as well, and Hayley was able to get into her opponent's mind, figure out what to do from there, and pull that upset victory.
Yeah, and that's going to be doing it. We're going to have our semifinal match coming up after this break, so you don't want to go anywhere. You want to stay here on twitch.tv/PowGaming for more of this MSS Top Cup action.
See you around, guys.